Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JKX2 podcast. I am your host, Kevin, or as I'm commonly referred to as Dangles. Today, I am joined by my co-host, Jack.
Hello.
And Jackson.
What's up?
Basically, we're a group of high school friends that found a love of gaming together, and we thought we'd start this podcast to share our experience with our games and esports. For those that are interested, every episode we will be watching a VOD of some esport or whatever you feel like watching while recording. And that's what you have shown on the screen right there. So feel free to pull up the stream that is listed, and we will be starting our VOD in 3, 2, 1. So that is kind of the premise of what we want to do with each episode of our podcast. So where do we want to begin?
I guess we got to explain just exactly how we met and stuff like that. We said we met in high school. I never met Dangles in high school.
Yeah, that's right.
We actually just met through gaming in general because both Jackson and Dangles are friends with my cousin actually, and who's a year younger than me. They went to the same high school, and one day we just started playing together.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, the first time I met Jack, we were playing The Division back when that first came out because I was talking to your cousin Kevin, who will be on this podcast at some point. Division, as for much of a crap game that was, brought us all together.
You say that, but I'm very excited for Division 2.
I was gonna say it started off kind of crap, but it got pretty good near the end of its life cycle, and I'm excited for Division 2.
No, I'm actually really excited for it because I played the beta, and a lot of the complaints I had for early Division anyway were definitely fixed. But before I get too sidetracked, we should also mention that the various games that we will probably do VODs of will be stuff from Pro Pubg, which is something that I like to watch a lot. Dangles is a big fan of Overwatch League.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also, he's a little bit too much into that.
Yeah,
I also like watching League of Legends.
Some other games that we do play, however, on the side that we might be watching at some point, we could be watching Rainbow Six Siege, some Apex or League. Hell, we might even throw Minecraft in there at some point, just because why the hell not?
Yeah,
it's a
that's
great
game. That's actually when we first started. Sorry to cut you off there, Jackson. But that's when we first hanging out together a lot was in Minecraft. Because I definitely played with Dangles maybe a few times in Division, but when we really hit our stride and like becoming more of a consistent group was definitely during when we got really into playing Minecraft together.
The idiots of Omniville, I think we called ourselves.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. That might be a separate podcast.
Talking about our adventures there.
Yeah, that was an adventure. Basically, what happened is I got mad at my cousin and formed a separate community, which then we had to reconcile in some way. But that's a whole nother story, as I said. We won't go into it now. Another thing that we should mention is we obviously have some favorite teams they'll be rooting for. Dennis, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. So for Overwatch, right now, for Season 2, I'm a big fan of the Atlanta Reign. I love DeFran, for those of you that know who he is. And I kind of follow the Outlaws, but not as much. And then PUBG, I choose, basically the team I'm biggest fan of is whoever is the most mediocre team.
Literally said that to me verbatim.
Basically, I literally asked Jack, so who's the most mediocre team that if they do really well, it'd be pretty surprising, but if they do poorly, it won't be that surprising. So then, if they do. So my two teams that I've kind of been looking into for the NA tournament is Ghosts, and for the European one is Vitality. Still know very little about them, but I will learn eventually.
He literally asked me who are the most mediocre teams, and I just pulled up the stat sheet. And Ghost Gaming literally just finished 8 out of 16 in the National PUBG League. So I was like, there
right
we go.
in the middle.
Jackson, who are your esports people, if you can think of any at the moment?
The ones with the coolest names. That's about it.
Jackson doesn't watch esports like we do.
That's true.
Not quite as much. I know you guys really get into it, but I still enjoy watching it. I love watching good quality play.
Yeah, so right now, as we said, we're watching the NPL. Jackson, who are you pulling for right now from the very few teams you've seen?
Let's see. We got SDK looks pretty good. Shoot to Kill. That's kind of nice. Kind of cool name. All right.
I like how he just picks the one team that are on the
of the
VOD.
teams, by the way. You can just choose one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to do that real quick. LA Valiant, which there's a big reason
shit.
behind that, which I'll say later. Team Solo Mid, that's mostly from League of Legends, but it's transferred to most other games that they still have a team in. Ninjas in Pajamas, which is...
Ooh, that's cool. I like that name.
Ninjas in Pajamas, yeah, they're actually a really well-established team, but they kept the funny name.
It's cool.
And they actually even had a funnier name back in the early days of... I can actually explain the story too. And then the Immortals, which is technically the same team as the LA Valiant. And then for the NPL, I'm a big fan of Why Tempt Fate. Another funny name because their shortened version is WTF. The reason why I'm a big fan of the LA Valiant and the Immortals, because my brother currently works within their organization. He works more on the business side. They're a subsidiary of Lionsgate, which my brother works for. So he's pretty tight with a lot of the players and the staff. So I kind of had to support him. And apparently LA Valiant are having kind of a rough
stage one,
time of it right now. We'll get into that later. Dangles can kind of take us through what he thinks is wrong. Yeah, Jackson, do you have any games right now that you're playing, but enjoying a lot besides Apex? We're all playing that right now.
Oh yeah, of course I'm playing Apex right now. Not kind of recently. I've been playing some more Battlefield 5. The game got quite a lot of hate across the board, and I still have my own bones to pick with it. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid game. I've been playing that for sure. And then actually, I just recently went back to my childhood and bought a PlayStation 2 and some Guitar Hero. So I've been playing some Guitar Hero.
Oh my god, I miss Guitar Hero.
That's a blast from the past.
It's basically the greatest thing I've ever spent $20 on ever. So that's what I've been doing.
If you're like to power up a game and just kind of relax, what's your game right now?
I would say Overwatch, but that place is toxic as hell, so not that. Basically, honestly, right now Apex, just because you can just kind of pull up, do whatever the hell you want. It's pretty simple. You can go solo or go with your team. Just fuck around, really.
I'm loving Apex, but I'm having a problem whenever I have to play on my own. Like I'm not playing with like you guys or anybody else. I always have like that one guy that dies early and leaves the game immediately, and I get stuck. I could respawn him, but he just leaves. It happens.
I also have a hard time playing Apex without even just having a third person. Like having a full 3 team is huge.
Yeah.
I just 100% got all the achievements in that game. And one of the games today, I finally got on one of those teams, where it comes in a statue like, this guy's insane.
Yep.
God, did he kind of carry me.
I like that you're still arrogant enough that you have to say he kind of carried you.
I still had 3 kills and 1,000 damage. It's not my fault that he managed to come in and clean up the 12 kills.
Okay, there's a big difference between 3 and 12.
Well, but there was not that much of a discrepancy of damage. It was one of the most fun games I've ever had.
Yeah.
Was it just like a constant fight?
That he did carry, but yeah, it was a constant fight. Actually, I didn't even realize that it was the last. It was the last squad when we won because it was just so much fighting. I was not watching. And I was generally surprised when they said, "Hey, you're the champion." I was like, "Oh my god, cool,
sick."
Jackson, I've been trying to remember, when did you and I first start playing together? Because was it
you and I met freshman year and we played on the volleyball team together, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where we met. I'm trying to remember when we first started gaming together.
Because I really didn't know you well on volleyball, but I knew you. I started to know you like senior year through
I never
gaming.
Played volleyball.
Yeah. Holy shit! Okay, hold on. Real quick, on the video, are you allowed to have like canted sights and stuff now? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
God, I haven't played that in so long. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, we need to play PUBG again at some point.
Yeah, I haven't played PUBG in a while.
Apex is just so nice right now. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, that's true.
I have been playing a little bit of that though, just because I'm probably the biggest achievement whore of the entire group.
Yeah, probably.
I was really, really close to an achievement, and so yeah, I did that, and it still holds up. Vikendi actually, it actually ran better in the test server than it does on the actual server, which is kind of weird. PUBG, it's definitely one of those games that it needs changes. Real quick, let's go back into that, like how we all met, because Jackson and I met way before I think the first time Dangles and I hung out.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember
that again just goes right back to Minecraft.
Because I remember it was you. It was the three of you. So it was Kevin, who's Jack's cousin, Jack, and Jackson. They were all like in this like world together already, and I just kind of joined out of nowhere, out of the blue. And I was like kind of stayed quiet because I remember you three were like kind of good friends, and I was like the third guy coming in. Like, all right, well I fit with these dudes, and wound up doing it.
I probably was the one who gave Dangles the most shit when he first joined. And then we probably ended up playing together the most over the last couple of years.
Oh, easily. You and I have easily played together the most. But I'm still not
he's learned to take it. He's also learned to give it back pretty good. So it's been pretty fun. Which Dangles is the worst at FPS in this group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Except on PC, he's very good at Overwatch. He has that over us, and ironically, I'm the worst at Overwatch. I also had to switch to being on PC, which that was like one of the first games I started playing on PC. We should also say most of us still play on Xbox.
Console Master Race.
Console Master Race.
Hell yeah.
I will say the one thing that console does better than PC.
Favorite team's back.
The one thing that Xbox does better than PC or any console really is you can just sit down and relax while you play. You don't have to be at a desk or anything.
Yeah,
that's one thing. Of the user interface is really nice.
Although you can't, if you're trying to play competitive, or like better graphic, better anything besides just being able to just kick back and relax. PC's better. We should also say that alluded to this earlier, but we did have this whole story arc with Minecraft. And that involved actually, scratch that. We should mention while we're on this topic of PC Master Race. We did play on Xbox for a while. And
oh yeah, I forgot we even played that.
So bad.
You played what? Sorry.
We played 7 days on Xbox, and that if you look at anything of that compared to like console and PC is just so much better for that.
I remember it would like when you're lining up a shot with a bow and arrow, it would take you at least 3 or 4 minutes to get it right. Like it was impossible to aim,
and then you have to just pray that zombie didn't make some weird swerve because even the coding was weird.
It was really bad. The aiming mechanics were not there. It was just very not optimized for
every time you tried to build something, it would like glitch out.
Yeah.
But we should mention that's what gave birth to Team House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which was
so basically what we have is there's 2 teams on the there's multiple teams, but the 2 main teams are the Team Jacks, which comprise of Jack and Jackson. They also call themselves Team House. I'm sure they'll explain that. And then there's Team Kevs, which is myself and Kevin. We're both named Kevin. So, and that's also the origin of the JKX2 name. We have JK for each of our initials times 2. So we thought it was kind of clever. It's probably not, but we enjoyed it.
We tried.
I think we're way smarter than we actually are.
So Team House came about because the Kevins, while we're playing 7 days, would always venture out and collect shit.
And die.
If we look back into those old maps or whatever, and we look at our scores or whatever, I think you I should say you, Kevin and Dangles have probably 5 times the amount of total zombie kills Jackson and I have together. And
yeah, that's probably.
But the thing is, I'm also way higher level because I just be down mining and I'd be crafting gunpowder the entire time, and I just cheesed all the levels.
Dude, I remember that. The entire time I was at the house, I would just hear the sound of like a thing hitting an anvil. Like every half second, I hear dung, dung, dung. I'm like, God damn it, Jack.
And I think I had like probably over 5,000 gunpowder.
Over 5,000?
I remember, Jack, you were looking for calipers for the longest time.
Yes,
the only way
I
that
think
gunpowder
the
is
search
because
for
I needed them to
calipers.
like make bullets, and it's like, hey, did you guys find any calipers? And then like a few times you'd be like, yes, and I'm like, really? No. Shut up.
I think I also remember back to the stability issues that we had. I remember Dangles one time. He spent so long making a motorcycle, and then he got off it one time and it disappeared.
Yeah, we
And
lost it.
I was furious. I literally spent probably a week of us like
it was
playing together.
Time. Yeah, it was a lot.
Trying
It
to
wasn't,
build this
7
motorcycle.
days as in 7 days of the game. It was 7 days.
Literally 7 days trying to make this motorcycle. And I remember finally finishing it. I drove to like a nearby city to do something. I got off it. I went to like the first building. I come back out. My motorcycle's gone. And I'm just furious.
You thought
Like,
one of us
second
took
it's
it first too. You thought one of us took it. You were like, "Oh, come on, guys, give it back."
Oh yeah, I 100% thought when you guys just followed me and took it. But then I realized you're on the opposite side of the map.
Me and Jack are team house. We're still in the house.
Yeah.
That'd have been Kevin. Like Kevin.
The only other person was Kevin, and I don't think he was there.
No, yeah, I think it was just us three that time.
I don't think he was there.
Yeah.
So we should also mention that some other people that we might have on this is definitely Kevin will probably be on this at some point. Who he can defend himself to some of the accusations levied against him.
There's gonna be a lot of them. There's gonna be a lot of shit about Kevin, but
he's a troublemaker.
But we love him anyway.
We love him. We keep him around because of that. He's a bit of a wild card.
Wow.
Mentioned this. He probably is the reason that we all decided to make a group together, and it goes back to the Minecraft playing out of all things. Which before we get into that, by the way, Jackson and I go back to like gaming on like 360.
Yeah.
I remember one time I caused Jackson and all of his friends to have an internal war in Minecraft because they kept on stealing all their shit.
Yeah, you didn't tell me this until recently. You just kept stealing a lot of shit. Like we had two different little bases.
War too.
We were hanging out. We were just chilling, having fun, and then all of a sudden, I noticed my diamond sword's missing or some shit. I'm like, where'd my sword go, guys? No one knows where my sword went. Jack is all quiet in the corner. I'm like, all right, let's go kill some bitches. Give me the sword back.
Okay, so here's what happened. Now, you're kind of misremembering this a little bit.
Okay.
I did not steal your diamond sword. I still don't know who stole your diamond sword.
God damn it.
But what was happening is it was back on 360, and we all wanted to do that achievement or whatever, which was you have to be on a rail for 500 meters straight.
Yep.
In charge of physically building it, and everyone else was supposed to give me materials. 7 of us in the server, so it was supposed to go kind of quickly. You know, you have 6 people mining, getting all the iron in the world. Have me building it, so it's pretty easy. And I was next to the rail and everything. It was great process. Someone stole Jackson's diamond sword. We have no idea.
I was very mad.
He was very mad. But because of that, and the accusations that just start flying around, like, yeah, who took it, who did this, and then inevitably sides were taken. It ended up becoming a full-blown war between 2 factions, and then there was me, totally removed from everything. I was like, I just want to build this rail. Because again, I'm an achievement whore. I just wanted my 40 gamer score. So I'm sitting there, you know, building, and then I run out of materials. I'm like, well, shit, no one's going to give me iron because they're all using it to fight each other. They're like, no, I'm not going to give you iron. I need it for swords and armor because I just died fighting and I need to remake some stuff. There's another moment where I remember you guys blew up each other's bases with the TNT, which was pretty funny. As I'm noticing, like, I'm getting no materials from this, I decide, screw it, I'm just going to steal it. So I left, and it was actually while the 2 groups were away, actually talking this out, like, you know, let's try and run over, and I just stole all of their iron and, like, as much materials as I could and left. And then they come back, like, about kind of almost having an understanding. All of our iron go. And then they immediately start blaming each other, because at this point they kind of forgot about me because I was being kind of quiet. Like, I know it was you, and then they kept on fighting, and then eventually I just go, hey, the rail's done. And they're like, oh, the war stopped.
Hey.
So
it was a while.
I was like, but it was amazing because I was like just Littlefinger in the corner being like, Ooh, I'm manipulating both sides.
What a dickhole.
That's that.
So this was another amazing moment. So we were all basically I think it was Jackson and Kevin. They both went to the Nether to go do something, and me and Jack had a stockpile of netherrack. And Kevin had spent so much time building this house out of sandstone. He was so proud of it. He was so happy.
Stone and brick.
And we decided, all right, we're gonna fuck with this house. So me and Jack made a group chat with Jackson on our phones and texted him saying, "Keep Kevin in the Nether."
Retaliation to him constantly tunneling underneath our houses.
Yep.
Yes. So we made a group chat and we tell Jackson, "Keep Kevin in the Nether for as long as you can. Just don't let him come back. Keep making up some reason for him to stay." So during that time, we replaced all the walls of his house with netherrack instead of the sandstone that he'd spent so long gathering and whatnot. And we kept it all, obviously, because we knew he would get really mad about it.
So, but we hit it.
We hit it somewhere. And so finally, Kevin comes back, and we're all just like, we're in my like treehouse, just watching him leave the portal, come back out, and then just stare at his house in silence. and we're all just like giggling to ourselves, like laughing really hard. And then there's a couple moments of silence, and Kevin lets out just the most exasperated sigh, and just so upset.
Completely. Fuck you guys.
like, I hate you all so much. And then we told him, yeah, we threw all your sandstone in the lava, make him think that it was all destroyed, and he was just like so upset.
He left the party and turned off Minecraft.
Yeah, he literally quit the game. The funny thing is, he was the host, so he kicked all of us out of the game.
We all had to text him,
we couldn't keep playing anymore because of him.
And we should say this: we would not be here without Kevin, just simply because we wouldn't know each other otherwise.
Oh no, absolutely. We mess with Kevin a lot, but we love that kid. He
mess with him because he has great reactions, and also his retaliations are pretty funny.
Yeah, he has some good retaliations.
Case in point, the chicken.
Oh my god, the chicken. So Kevin loves birds, and hence he loves chickens in Minecraft.
Kevin was a part of the ornithology club in high school, if that means anything. So
he also had a website called kevkevbirdwatch.com. Possible for us to get arrows, by the way, because he just won't let us kill chickens. Anyway.
Yes.
He was going to have a... actually, wait, why was he mad at you, Dangles?
I probably killed some chickens, honestly. Like, I needed some arrows, so I saw a chicken coop, so I was like, I'm just going to kill some chickens.
Okay.
That was probably what happened. I don't remember exactly. But
wait, was it in the same game where he made the chicken temple out of, leaves and shit?
Oh, that's actually a totally different one.
A different game.
Okay. I actually own that server.
Okay. Yeah, his love
of that down repeatedly.
Yeah, his love of chickens transcends all Minecraft games. It wasn't like it was just this one all of a sudden.
And we did burn his stuff.
We did.
Yeah. Oh, it was pretty funny. He was not happy.
Not funny to him.
By the way, that's one of our coolest servers, is that one. Anywho.
The point is, Kevin was pissed off at me, which it happens a lot. I'm very aggravating to him.
Kevin, in retaliation... by the way, this is kind of deep into our history lore, but we have set up the town of Omniville with all our houses and everything, and Dangles is right in the middle in a giant tree because he has a tree house.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of Dangles' house, Kevin built a giant chicken effigy out of wool. And
literally, he made a chicken, and each pixel was a block of different colored wool, and the entire thing was pretty big.
Pretty big, and it was very well made. He did a great job.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was too busy to mind. He was like, Dangles, come outside. He's like, you have angered the chicken gods, and then just lit it on fire.
And I'm just, granted, I think this was one of the first times I ever actually played with you guys, and I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Jackson was like, this is normal. This is a normal day in the park for us.
Like I was
me and Jack are just like, oh yeah, chicken, burning effigy.
Yeah, it was funny, but that makes total sense for Kevin. Was I surprised they did it? No. Was I surprised that was so well made? Yes.
It was very well made. I don't know if he watched a tutorial or something, but it looked like professional.
I don't know why he probably spent.
No,
so
actually,
much
he's made
time
it before. Okay, so in every single one of my Minecraft maps that I've shared with Kevin, there is a chicken effigy somewhere.
Nice.
He has had practice.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But we should get to some of our esports content.
Hey.
This is Jackson's time to shine.
Yeah, right where Jackson gets a little into the podcast, and we'll finally talk about esports.
Hell yeah.
Dangles, do you want to take it away with talking about some Overwatch League? Or?
Yeah, sure. So basically, yeah, I'm the only one in the group who really plays Overwatch, which is not surprising. Overwatch is kind of dying.
I just play Reinhardt.
I love it. And basically right now, a big issue Overwatch has right now is the current meta. It's called the GOATS meta or the 3-3 meta. And it's a very, the big issue with it is that it's a very boring comp to watch, to be a part of.
I think that it should be changed just because of watchability, or do you think that'd be a little unfair to teams that have really succeeded with this new meta?
Well, here's the thing. It's a much hated meta among pretty much most pro players from what I've seen and among a lot of the community. Mostly because it's kind of boring for some people. And it's not a skill meta. It's an all combination meta. And that's part of the reason why it's hard for Overwatch League to, like, the broadcast to really shine, because there's no like really cool highlight plays the way there was in season 1, where you'd have a Widowmaker clicking 6 heads and winning the team fight. It's a much more team focused thing, because if one player makes one mistake, you're going to lose the entire fight. Whereas in other metas, other players can make really skilled moves and bring a fight back from the brink.
I'll go. By the way, Dangles he's probably the more knowledgeable at the sport he talks about. I'm just a fan of watching League or Siege or even PUBG, so I don't really have as great a grasp on the meta. But something that is kind of interesting that you did allude to is that somebody came into Worlds in meta that kind of broke everything, and that kind of reminds me of a story of there's this team called the Moscow 5, who basically revolutionized the game of League of Legends, and they're kind of touted as, like, until recently, one of the only like Western teams that could consistently beat Koreans, because they're just so good about playing this game.
Okay.
It's a whole very complex. It has to do with basically pushing in the lanes, and explain it very quickly. So I'm just gonna ignore that for now. But instead, we're gonna switch over to talking about PUBG real quick. And again, since this is less of a technical standpoint, this is more of, we can involve Jackson again in this.
What's up?
Yeah, and
knowing Jackson, he was probably just sitting on his phone the entire time, just like looking at Twitter, waiting for his name to be called.
No, I'm actually staring at the screen, wondering why the hell they have like a Jenga thing there.
That's just kind of a weird thing to watch with no sound, because I have no context for what's going on here.
I'm at like 6:11.
All right. Well, we're all over the place, so maybe this idea won't work out. Anyway,
we can resync it at some point. I just had to restart my thing because it got glitched. But anyway, do you guys think they're doing a decent job with PUBG League?
I would say I probably watched more than Jackson, but from what I've seen, yes, yeah, they're doing a good job, because I remember watching in the early days, just kind of like as a casual viewer of the pro PUBG, it was very chaotic and you really had no idea what was going on. Whereas now they kind of changed the format to where they would follow like 4 teams throughout a game until like the end game, when there's like 3 teams left. Then they just focus on the final fight. And I remember in the days of watching pro PUBG, it was just chaotic, and they would just go from fight to fight, and I have no idea what's going on. Whereas now I kind of follow
the fight when they'd actually have them there.
Yeah, and now it's like a lot more organized, and the production quality has improved. I feel like they kind of taken a thing off Overwatch League, because there's a lot of similarities into the broadcast structure, and which is Overwatch League is doing a very good job broadcast wise.
It definitely is like a whole other technical challenge of rather than having something like Overwatch League or League of Legends, where you have 5v5 or a 6v6, where now you have 64 players all on the same stage. You have to make sure that they're all connected and running properly. So it is something where I think that was something they were really concerned about early, and something that's definitely gotten better. I still think it needs to be better advertised. I know actually something that's changed from the last time we talked about this was they have introduced the idea of rewarding people for watching. So they'll say, like, if you watch and maybe guess the team that will win that game, you get prizes in PUBG.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and that's something that they've actually introduced, which I think is pretty successful. But also I think that PUBG itself is kind of in a rough spot right now.
Yeah. I feel like that's an issue with all Battle Royale right now, though. Like, it's kind of hard to make an esport out of Battle Royale. That's kind of, to a certain degree, there's a good chunk of luck involved in a Battle Royale game.
Something that's, I think, they've changed, which has made it more interesting, is teams have the amount of loot that you can find around the map. So most teams won't be going into the last circle with like an Uzi or something like that. That would just be stupid. Like, most people have an AR at the very least.
Yeah.
And that has made it more of an even playing field. And because, like, you're playing and you don't want to die early, most people will say, okay, it's almost like, a gentleman's agreement. Like, okay, Pochinki is yours. We're going to take school or whatever. Because of that has made the early game kind of fun to watch, which is why they actually bumped up the amount of time it takes for the circle to start closing. Or, I mean, not bumped it up, bumped it down. So it closes soon in the beginning to kind of like force teams to start fighting. Happened is people have figured out, okay, this is exactly where this team is going to land. So some people will maybe try and purposely go there or drop near it, and then rotate there quickly to catch, which is kind of an interesting strategy. When you think about it, it's like, say, like, this team's ahead of you in the standings and you need to take a risk, you can try and take them out early. It's about, like, going back to one of the reasons why, like, Ninjas and Pajamas in PUBG. When this current roster was released from this other team Kingwin, which was called Welcome to South George Pole. I thought that name was hilarious at the time. So, and I actually went and watched them Berlin for the first PGI.
Oh, that's right. You were in Germany for that.
Went to Berlin. I watched
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
PUBG Global Invitational in 2018, that was pretty fun. It was my first time in Germany, well, actually my first time in Europe in general. And I was actually there studying abroad over the summer, and I realized I was going to be there. So just went over there from Amsterdam to Berlin, pretty easy train ride. Stayed in Berlin, had a great time, watched PUBG. And yeah, that was a really cool experience. And I think that PUBG right now, as I said, is in a rough spot because of obviously fierce competition.
Yeah.
From all sides. Like, you think Apex, Fortnite, obviously.
Battlefield 5's Battle Royale is coming out this month or so.
I'm curious, but I'm not fully convinced I'll play it.
I'll definitely give it a try. We can't judge anything before it comes out, but it looks interesting enough. Give it a couple rounds and see what's up when it does come out.
I'm kind of interested to see what it'll be like to play in World War II setting.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And also, the other part of it, they've already confirmed that there's going to be tanks, like, actually in the Battle Royale, which people are concerned that they could be OP or that they could not feel like a tank should if they make them too weak to balance out the being very small teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work that in.
Do you think that Battlefield 5 might be a little late to the party here, or do you think it should be fine?
I think it's definitely late to the party as far as Battle Royales go. There's Battle Royales everywhere in the market right now. I mean, obviously Fortnite's still a big one. Apex is a newcomer. Blackout's still there. I don't know how many people still play Blackout or not. I never played it myself.
I play it from time to time, and there's a few people out there that I play with now that still play it.
And PUBG, and then there's a bunch of other ones that are all like smaller ones that have all come out recently. Battlefield 5 is definitely late to the party, and I think that most of the Battlefield community would have been totally fine with them completely skipping Battle Royale and leaving it out and making the primary part of the game stronger, which I would have preferred. But it is what it is. So we're gonna get a blackout, or not? Sorry, we're getting a firestorm. It's called, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see how good it is.
Here's an interesting question. Do you think that it would really do well if they decided to make Firestorm free to play?
I have heard about this. I've heard people saying that saying that it would be a good idea, saying that they won't do it, saying that they might do it. At the end of the day, I think they're not going to do it because they would have advertised it as free to play. I feel like at this point, because it's only a month out, they would have advertised it as free to play, in my opinion, if it was going to be a separate entity from Battlefield 5. I feel like it would be a good move to make it free to play because we can see what's happened with Apex and Fortnite, both of those extremely popular free to play games because of how good their mechanics are, how easily they move, how it was one of the biggest contrasts between early PUBG and early Apex. Is early PUBG was very wonky with its mechanics. It was hard to move, and the frame rate wasn't as good, and things like that when it first came out. Apex started off really smooth, 60 frames, looking very nice, and definitely helped it out.
Something that I've noticed that a lot of games really benefit from being able to be free to play, and also just being generally very good at launch. Something that I think Apex kind of differently is it kind of hit this it released in this nice little sweet spot where apparently, by the way, I hate Fortnite. I never really play it.
I play it once in a while with friends, but it's definitely not my preferred game. No thanks, Jack. Love you too.
So Fortnite apparently it's coming a little bit of fire because their recent seasons haven't been very popular.
Yep.
So people have been kind of hating on it, and it's kind of driven some people away from the game. And then suddenly this brand new one came out that was a lot of fun and did things pretty different from most other traditional battle royales in terms of being able to revive and Overwatch quality to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watching Wildcard Pride right now.
Well, different from you. I just watched someone get mowed down in a bathroom.
Yeah, we should probably figure out how to sync up our streams
Well, the
better.
problem is, I just had to.
All right, I'm at an hour 13:40 right now. What do you guys want to put it to?
I'm at an hour 13. I'm out 14:40.
I'm at hour 15. So coming up, you guys are going to be watching Wildcard Pride, and it's going to be really long.
Right now, I'm just watching two teams dance around each other in a house.
Do you guys want to link it up? Do you guys want to link it up at 11:15? Just exactly 11:15.
No, do not go. You don't want to skip this. I can pause at. I'm pausing at 1.
Honestly, it's not like we're watching it that intently, so we don't really need to be super synced up.
Yeah, sure.
It's just kind of like the general area of where we are in the VOD.
All right, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, so PUBG. What was I? Oh, so yeah. Just a question. Do you think there should be a PUBG 2.0? Like they should kind of almost stop working on the current PUBG.
Hello.
A new one that will be run much smoother, maybe on a different engine.
You think just like a PUBG 2, like a sequel?
PUBG, not really like a PUBG 2, like they release a whole new game, but like a PUBG 2.0. That'll be much smoother, remaster most of the maps, make it.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it because one of the biggest problems with it is that basically from its development, it wasn't developed by a huge company. It was by a AAA company like Activision or Respawn Entertainment or anything like that, like for Titanfalls and Blackout, as I was thinking of. Sorry. So I think if it was made from the ground up with a little bit better engine and with a stronger team behind it, it definitely would have potential to be a much smoother experience, and I think that definitely helped the game out.
What do you think, Dangles? Or do you think that having a PUBG 2.0 would be a good thing? Not necessarily releasing a new game, but almost stop working on PUBG right now and rebuild it.
Come out with a big update that completely rebuilds the game.
Rebuild it, make it smoother, almost reintroduce it.
I think at this point that would be a good idea. Marketing wise, they're kind of struggling right now because granted for the PUBG League I have not seen an advertisement. The only reason I know about it is because of you. I think a new like big update that might be able to bring people back, because I feel like a big issue with PUBG is the player base has kind of already went through a lot of, the bullshit, and they got tired of PUBG, and that's why they're gone. That's why a lot of people like left and stopped watching. Whereas now, if they come back with a brand new update that revitalizes the game, maybe a new engine, maybe all of that, to just completely not to reformat the game, but just improve on every single individual thing that, like, criticism, basically, make it better.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good way to bring people back to PUBG, then maybe get people to watch pro PUBG more, which will get more money in. So yeah, I do think a 2.0 might be needed.
Awesome. Okay, so we're probably going to wrap up real quick because, again, I'm an achievement whore, and I am, if you play Rainbow Six Siege on Xbox, you'll know that there's an achievement to defend times. I'm currently sitting at 99 out of 100, so I'm probably going to do that. Daniel, you want to take us with the closing remarks?
Yeah, sure. So this is probably where our podcast is going to be like week to week. We'll be watching some VOD of something in the background. We'll try to figure out how to make it so we're all synced up a lot better than we were this time, because right now we're all over the place. Yeah, so we'll try to get Kevin on at some point in the podcast to defend himself, because we're gonna roast him a lot.
And talk some more about like our own experience gaming. We're going to talk more about go more into depth into the esports side of things, and it'll probably differ week to week. Like this week, we kind of kept it a little bit more personal because it's the first time we've done this, and also we have Jackson here, who's not really an esport guy, so we made an effort.
Yeah, but I will be explaining to Jack why the Scorpion is the OG weapon and way better than any AR.
You've still yet to convince me fully. I'm still a big fan of the Panther.
I got one kill with it. That should be convincing enough.
They're talking about PUBG.
One kill with a lot of different guns, Nate.
Yeah, but a Scorpion.
This is a story.
By that logic, the G7 is the best gun in Apex because I got 5 of them earlier.
Yeah, G7's not bad, but the Wingman is OG.
This is a story for the next time to explain the Scorpion and Jackson's love with it.
All
right. So thank you for listening, and tune in whenever we post the next one, because we have no idea when that's going to be.
Hey guys.
Goodbye.
Shoots.